What's going on, guys? My name is Tim Roswick, and today we have a video that was a request from one of the viewers. We're basically going to talk about whether or not graphics and art matters in game development. Now, this is one of those things where, like, you've heard a bunch of stuff, right? At least I have. I've heard all kinds of stuff about if you make a great game, the graphics don't matter and all this other stuff. And if you do this, you just focus on what you're good at. You don't got to worry about graphics. But let me lay some truth on you. Let me just be real here. Humans are visual creatures, okay? And to think that visuals don't matter, you kind of lied to yourself there. Do you have to have the best graphics in the world to sell a game? No. Can your game get crazy, get played by PewDiePie and go off craziness like Getting Over It or something like that? Sure. Is that likely to happen? I don't think it is, because you have to think when you're determining importance, you got to think about the goal, right? What is the goal of graphics? What's the whole point? Why have graphics at all? Graphics give a visual representation to the player of what they are experiencing. Just like our eyeballs, turn all of this into images that our brain can see, and then we understand what we're experiencing in life. When we see a car, we know it's a car. When we see a raccoon, we know it's a raccoon, and we can react appropriately. So the better your graphics, a lot of times, the more specific it is the more people can tell what each type of thing is, better reaction time to that, and so on. And a lot of stuff plays in. It's not just graphics. It's also game feel. It's also, the types of stuff like polish and that kind of thing. But I think the more important question is not just for the gameplay, right? Like it does have gameplay implications. Like if your health pack looks like a square instead of a cross or something like that, it's probably going to be less effective. So it kind of matters from a gameplay perspective. Like you got to have good enough art to be able to discern what these things are. You got to, you know what I mean? Like if you're making a horror game, but your dude looks like a stick figure, it's probably not going to work out that well. But that being said, that's just from a gameplay perspective. What about from a marketing perspective? Well, here's the bad news. I've actually tested this in a series of different games. We actually reskinned one game 3 times, and we tested it with basic graphics, pixel art graphics, and vector high quality super like Clash of Clans style graphics. And we found that the better graphics, usually the vector ones on the App Store anyway, seem to work better. Almost across the board, almost all the time. And there's a joke in the indie game community, like all of the top grossing apps have the same icon. It's the one dude going raw, right? Like the Clash of Clans logo. And there's a reason for that, because that icon works really, really well. It's been tested. Like everything in Clash of Clans, everything Supercell does is tested to hell. Okay. So usually it's a good point to kind of start with someone that knows their marketing and kind of copy that and go from there and test from there. It's not always a good idea to copy because you don't know why they're doing it, when they're doing it. It could just be a test for them and they've had no results at all. But as far as visuals goes, you can usually judge a game by its cover. And if you can't, it doesn't matter because people still do. The number one factor, for example, on Steam to get people to click on your game is what that little cover image is. The little tiny cover image, the little tiny image that shows your game logo. People judge your entire game based on that. If that doesn't look appealing, you don't get clicked on. And if you don't get clicked on, you don't get bought. If you don't get bought, you don't make money. So if you're saying, do graphics matter? Kind of. The difference between buying and not buying, right? And even if your game is super fun, but it doesn't have decent graphics, people are going to judge it before they even play it. It happens. It just happens. That's how it happens. We're visual creatures. We process visually. If you're marketing to someone that's visually impaired, the audio is probably going to be really important, right? The audio and the trailer, like whatever our main sense is to kind of judge things, that's what we do. And you know, in writing, people say don't judge a book by its cover, because everyone does. Because there are some great books out there that have really bad covers. Just like there's some really great games out there that have really bad landing pages, really bad store pages. So graphics absolutely matter on the marketing level. 100% they matter. They matter so much. Please do not underestimate how much they matter. So like if you're not a good artist, if you're, you know, maybe a programmer and you got programming art in your game, I don't think you should get discouraged though. Because there are a lot of ways to make art. There's a lot of ways to be simplistic, right? Like there are a lot of art styles, especially in the mobile game industry right now, like the being really minimalistic with shapes and colors is a good way to do that. You can always hire an artist, or you can work with an artist as a team. Nothing wrong with that. I don't want you to get discouraged, but I don't want to undersell the value of graphics, because graphics are super, super, super important. They're super important, and you got to take them seriously. So that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to stress the importance, because I see this. First of all, this video was requested, but second of all, it's something that I hear a lot. Just make a great game and it'll all be good. And people point to games like, you know, Getting Over It or stuff like that maybe necessarily doesn't have good graphics, but got really popular, and then they think that their game can get really popular without good graphics. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying it's impossible. But I'm saying it will work to your benefit if you work on the graphics and the presentation of your game, because it's extremely important. That's all I got for you. I got a super great announcement coming tomorrow, though. So you should watch the video tomorrow, because it's going to be awesome. And I'm super excited. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out and watching the video. Once again, my name is Tim Ruswick, and I will see you again tomorrow.